Last Action Hero is the 1993 anti-blockbuster about a year of Arnold Schwarzenegger's life that he would desperately like to get back. It's also the beginning of the improbable riddle, who's going to look better in 20 years, Schwarzenegger or Charles Dance? Which will be brutally answered decades later by Charles Dance's recurring role on Game of Thrones as a steely-eyed emperor of Peter Dinklage insults, and Schwarzenegger's recurring role in Sylvester Stallone movies as a weather-beaten old lesbian trying to keep the sun out of her eyes. In their lone shared cinematic experience, Last Action Hero, Danny Madigan, a teenage action movie junkie with no stable male role model in his life, suddenly finds himself magically transported into Arnold's latest movie.
Holy cow, I'm in the movie!
Doing battle with Sea Dance against a backdrop of slapstick violence and self-aware genre cliches. It's a harmless and cleverly written send-up of every action movie we grew up watching in the 1980s. It just had the misfortune of opening the same weekend as Jurassic Park. Sort of like the guy who got picked third in the 1992 NBA draft after Shaq and Alonzo Mourning. At its heart, Last Action Hero is a story about a movie-obsessed kid and his friendship with a nutty but well-meaning theater operator united by their mutual passion for Schwarzenegger films, despite the fact that the kid is like 12 and the theater operator is old enough to have been his grandfather's Pee-wee soccer coach. Well, prepare to be grotesquely depressed, the internet, because this charming if historically maligned action comedy is secretly a crushing psychological drama about a kid being molested by a crazy old man.
I always wanted to be a magician.
The very first time we see him, Danny is sitting in the seediest theater imaginable, watching a movie in the middle of the day when he should be at school learning how to avoid his current career trajectory of getting his jaw blown off by a shotgun blast in the middle of a liquor store robbery. There are bums sleeping in the seats behind him, a pile of junkies in the stairwell next to the concession stand, and terrifying graffiti scrawled on the torn, disease-eaten wallpaper like a ransom note from the Zodiac Killer. James Gumb wouldn't watch a movie here.
Oh, this place is a hole. Let's go to the AMC. You know you can get a milkshake there?
Also, notice how Danny's knuckles are all cut up and bloody, like he just scraped his way through some kind of struggle. He kicks his way into the projection booth to find old Nick asleep in a chair, as if he just engaged in some exhausting physical activity. But Nick is a projectionist at a dive movie theater in the shittiest part of New York City that sees maybe 15 customers a week that aren't dead bodies. What could he have possibly been doing that would require enough physical exertion to put him to sleep during a balls-out action movie starring Arnold Schwarzenegger at his prime? I don't know. Maybe touching some children? Think about it. Nick's theater is a terrifying environment for anyone, let alone a friendless 12-year-old latchkey kid. It's a hovel of dangerous illegal activity. Nick clearly doesn't care about Danny's well-being. He deliberately lures him away from school in the middle of the day. After Danny wakes him up from his molester nap, Nick casually mentions that Danny's only 4 hours late for school, as if this is business as usual. When Danny gets in trouble with his mom later on, she instantly knows that he skipped to go hang out and watch movies with Nick. So we know this is something he does all the time. Nick is totally complicit in the habitual truancy of a preteen on the verge of failing out of school because he doesn't give one pencil-mustached shit about Danny's future. And what's one way sexual predators gain the trust of their victims? By exploiting a common interest. What better way to win over an at-risk teen who spends all day dreaming about Schwarzenegger movies than to dazzle him with free access to a movie theater? That's another thing. Danny's obsessed with action movies, specifically one starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, arguably the most famous muscle-bound ass-kicker that has ever lived. He spends all day at school fantasizing about Schwarzenegger movies because he wishes he were a gun-toting mutant ubermensch that didn't have to take any crap from anyone. He daydreams about an action superhero because he feels powerless to escape his own situation. Nick even lures Danny out in the middle of the night to his rancid heroin-sweating movie theater, which predictably ends in Danny getting robbed by a germs fan with a switchblade and handcuffed to a toilet. Nick's psychological hold on Danny is so strong that Danny leaves the police station after reporting the robbery and goes immediately to the movie theater. It's like 1 o'clock in the freaking morning and he just got mugged in his own apartment. And his obedience to Nick is so strong that he's physically unable to disappoint him. And after all that, Nick greets Danny at the back door of his stabtacular cinema, dressed like a caricature of a child molester, and immediately gives Danny tons of shit for being late. He doesn't care that Danny just went through a catastrophically traumatic experience. All he cares about is that he gave Danny instructions to be at the theater by midnight to watch a new Schwarzenegger movie. Danny disobeyed him. So Danny, reeling from a night that would drive most of us to suicide, sits down in a seat presumably so full of urine it's like a piss-inflated waterbed, and is suddenly teleported into the backseat of Arnold Schwarzenegger's Cadillac as Mr. Universe speeds his way through gunfire, explosions, and hilarious ice cream-related murder puns.
Hi, it's that guy.
That's Danny's brain doing everything it can to keep from tearing itself in half like a Hulkamania tank top. It's the ultimate permutation of his daydreaming. Danny is now literally inside an action movie with his hero, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And nobody can hurt him when Arnold's around. The magic ticket is Danny's coping mechanism. And what's the first thing Nick does when he finds out about it? He tries to take it away from him.
Could I have the ticket back, please?
Which results in Danny's make-believe hero getting a fatal bullet wound to the chest. Danny literally has a conversation with death itself in the last scene of the movie before finally deciding to let his hero fantasy go and confront his difficult life as a stronger person. So I hope you enjoyed me ruining Last Action Hero for you forever. Now that I think about it, I totally understand why everyone took their kids to see Jurassic Park instead. The only thing getting molested in that movie is Jeff Goldblum's chest.
Hey, thanks for watching the video. I hope you share this with your friends, and they share it with their friends, and so on and so on, and we get a real virus of a content going. So please subscribe. And then click the like button if that's there, or your current platform and time period's equivalent of a like button. It's a thumb up or like a A-OK or just the word yes. Click that. And then in the comments, just let us know what you did today. However mundane, I promise you at least a person will be mildly interested.